Hey, Suzanne, so great to see you.
I am fabulous and happy to see you, my friend.
Happy to see you. Happy Thursday, everyone.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
Hey, everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. That is the incredible, wonderful Dr. Producer Suzanne Bagnara here with us today. I'm Glenn Hausman. You're watching No Vacancy Live. I'm told it's episode 646, but I'm very dubious because I'm not 100% sure we got these right, these numbers over here. So
I'm not going to recount them now.
I don't know. I
just recounted to like almost 700 come this year. My goodness.
I know. We're going to have 700 in October, and that's exciting. Plus, we're going to hit another milestone, it looks like, next week. Plus, speaking about milestones, this past week, Dr. Producer Suzanne, we hit 6 complete years of doing the No Vacancy podcast. Yeah, I saw that. We got 6 years of doing the No Vacancy podcast. We've now started year 7. That's pretty cool, huh?
That was pretty exciting. What was the anniversary date?
I launched it the day before the NYU Hotel Investment Conference all those years ago. I don't remember the exact date. I guess I could get out the calendar and we'll do that. Meanwhile, while we're trying to figure out what date I actually started this, I want to encourage everybody, if you're looking into franchises, if you're looking to work with a good brand, consider our friends over at Radisson. They got great brands like Radisson Inns and Suites, plus Radisson Red, and a whole lot of others in your portfolio. Check them out, Radisson Hotel Americas, hotelsamericas.com. Tell them that Glenn sent you and ask for Phil Hugh, of course. All right, so what I want to talk to you about today, Suzanne, is you brought this great idea for a story. And we always talk about sports and how they can help hotels make money, but we haven't really gotten into it in a real fundamental way about how some creative ideas that people are doing that to help their communities. So what do you think about this whole idea today, since you brought it to me?
I think this is a pretty cool opportunity, and I've had the pleasure of getting to know our guest over the last year, and really I've been quite impressed about how Ryan and his team are able to maneuver sports tourism, and we need to get in depth with it.
All right, well, let's bring in Ryan Strickland, VP of Play Treasure Coast Sports Tourism. Hey, man, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Glenn. Thank you and Dr. Bagnara for having me on today.
My pleasure.
It's so formal calling her. We go with the more casual Dr. Producer, Suzanne. So.
Well, Ryan actually happens to be on my advisory board now, too. That's how impressed I was, to help give some guidance to the program and the way in which we craft it for education for our students.
That is pretty cool. Now, Ryan, I want to warn you right up front what's about to happen over here. And that's I have no conception of sports for the most part. So not really my thing. So I'll probably make a lot of analogies to live music and stuff like that. All right. So just so you know, I do know that 3 strikes you're out and 4 balls you get a walk. When I played Little League, I was always hoping that I'd have to walk and not actually have to swing at something. So, that's where my career goes. Although I did like the Mets back in the 70s and 80s, which is why I've got where they play in Port St. Lucie here behind me, Ryan.
Well, I love the photo, and as a native here on the Treasure Coast, I remember when the Mets moved over in the late 80s. I grew up a Met fan and sharing the passion for that particular team, and at times sharing the.
Well, that was the Yankees IT manager who cut him off right there. Looks like he lost internet service, so that is really not a good thing. Wait, he's back. All right. So
that was a home run ball. It went out of the park.
Yeah. That came out of left field.
We get sound effects today. Awesome.
Well, Anthony's not around, so I'm going to do anything I darn well please. Sorry in advance, Ryan. So, he's freezing up again. Oh, there he is. Ryan, tell us a little bit about Play Treasure Coast.
So Play Treasure Coast, we are the sports tourism marketing and management organization for the Treasure Coast region. We are a nonprofit 501c3 collaborating with our county partners and the communities within those counties to bring
Right.
sporting events to the area that generate economic impact and direct spending in our communities.
That is awesome. Now, I've heard before, Dr. Producer, like, organizations that are to promote the city, to bring meetings and events to the city. But this is something I haven't heard before. Is this something you're familiar with, Suzanne?
No, most of the time that would be like a CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau
Yeah.
type of opportunity. And in Boston, I don't ever remember anything being sports driven. Everything was really done through the CVB. And here, this is literally just like a separate branch and working with the tourism development councils in each of these counties. But Ryan and his team have a pretty expansive bandwidth, if you will, in terms of area within the state to cover on the Treasure Coast. And they've been doing some really awesome things.
That's pretty cool. So, Ryan, how are you fundamentally helping your region when it comes to bringing sports events to the area?
Marketing, promoting as men.
All right, we're losing him again. All right, we're gonna give it we're gonna give another shot or two, and then we're gonna have to try to reschedule this. It doesn't work. All right, we'll bring him back in a second, and he's coming on a different feed. You were saying, right?
Market and promotion the area as a sports tourism destination, but also a great place to come back on a leisure travel and maybe even relocate to the communities that we reside in. But then once the tournament is taking place in the area, we work directly with our sports tourism partners, the hoteliers, the restaurateurs, attractions in the community, to make sure that those participants and spectators have the best experience they possibly could while they're here in the community.
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds, again, familiar to me, like a destination marketing type of an organization. However, you're just specializing in the sports element of that. So how do you guys get your funding? How does that all work, being that you're a nonprofit?
As Dr. Producer Suzanne mentioned, through the Tourist Development Council in each of the three counties that we represent, Indian River County to the north, St. Lucie County in the middle, and Martin County to the south. We work with the tourism director in each of those counties to work within their budget to inject some more economic impact and direct spending to those areas. If you're familiar with the tourist development tax, if an individual stays in a hotel or a overnight accommodations less than 30 days, they pay a bed tax. The county collects that bed tax, and we receive a portion of that bed tax to then inject back into the community in economic.
That makes sense. Also, I appreciate your talent of not moving your lips when you talk, which is pretty cool. So, all right, and now he is back again. All right.
I have to deal with our partners to see about getting a hard wire because the Wi-Fi here in the county building is not sufficed.
We hadn't noticed. Had not noticed. So let's try to get through this as quickly as we can, Ryan. So that way we can get some good content today. Although I do love seeing you frozen in various positions from time to time. So I love that you partner. So how do you actually go out and you find these events? And I know that you had one pretty good story about this firefighter challenge that took place. Perhaps utilize that as an example as how you go about setting all of these things up.
Okay. So there are briefly 30 sports commissions throughout the state of Florida, and we do have a statewide partner in the Florida Sports Foundation, which is under Enterprise Florida. So we work within our state partners, but also industry trade shows to find national governing bodies or event tournament directors. In the case of the Firefighter Challenge, which is a amazing obstacle course competition for men and women in the fire service, we first engaged with them at what's known as Sports ETA, a National Association trade show, that they were looking for host communities to think outside the box and celebrate what these men and women do on a daily basis. And when we first saw the imagery, it's incredible. ESPN actually coined it a few years ago, the toughest 2 minutes in sports. So the Derby's the quickest 2 minutes in sports. This
Yep.
is the toughest 2 minutes in sports. And it's unbelievable what these men and women do.
I thought the Nathan's Hot Dog Challenge on July 4th was the toughest 2 minutes in sports. I'm glad you corrected that for me.
Well, you think about it, they're all those firefighters are wearing their turnout gear, and
Right.
they are really hustling to be able to maneuver the course.
Right. So while Ryan, you know what I'm thinking? We're going to release this as an audio podcast too. Maybe try turning off your video camera. That might give you enough of a signal in order for us to stay together, because we're already looking at you frozen. So there you go. Maybe that'll help. Is that helping, do you think? Or not? I don't know. You know, it's like that old song, to dream the impossible dream, you know? So Suzanne, you know, it's interesting because I didn't even realize that there were trade shows like that. Obviously there are, but I think it's an example of sometimes you've got to think a little bit differently. We're so ingrained in thinking about the stuff that we think about that it never even occurred to me that there's this whole other universe out there of all these different types of events. So your community can go to these events and find events to bring to you, right?
Right. And from the sports end, you know, what's I think really great and especially even on youth sports too, right? Or traveling team. You've had boys, and so I don't know if they've been on traveling teams, but you head somewhere. And so for us in the Treasure Coast, we're a very desirable area. And between the 3 counties, there's a lot of sport play fields, and it's just not fields. There's also aquatics. There's the whole fishing and angler side. I know pickleball is another big piece that's coming into play. Still haven't quite figured that one out yet. But all these other opportunities that are coming around, and then having that opportunity for repeat business. You do a job really well, and that's what we look for in the hotels, right? We want to be able to bring our guests back for championships or tournaments and succeed and continue to have them back. So why not be able to play with folks like Ryan and make that kind of happen?
So Ryan, are you there? Gonna take that as
okay,
great. All right, so Ryan, you know, we were talking about how you know, the fundamentals of going to these events and stuff like that. What is the how many events on average have you brought? How many types of events are, you know, single shots, and how many are making a commitment to stay and with you year after year? How's all that going down?
As Dr. Producer mentioned, we do like that residual business. We find when a tournament director comes into our community and experiences what our communities have to offer, they return. So our retention rate is extremely high. On an annual basis in the 3 counties that we represent on the Treasure Coast, we annually host 100 events, which would actualize anywhere between 35,000 and 40,000 hotel room nights.
Woo! That is significant. Go on. All right. I guess we're not going on. So, I mean, Suzanne, that's really interesting to me. And it really shows the power of having certain organizations helping to support whatever jurisdiction you're in. In this case, it's a collection of 3 separate Florida counties. Here on Long Island, you know, we have the Discover Long Island, which is trying to bring groups, plus the Long Island Hospitality Association that I'm a part of. Ryan, so 30 to 40,000 room nights, pretty impressive.
Correct. And that equates to over $30 million in direct spending here in our communities.
Yeah. Hey, Chris is saying, visit Clearwater, St. Pete, and the Tampa Bay Sports Commission are great to work with on that side. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
They are. They're great partners of ours, partners/competitors, as we like to say. But they are doing fantastic things in their communities as well as our friends to the south here at the Palm Beach County Sports Commission.
Yeah, that's great. So what are the types of events that you're finding that are coming to you? And is there a particular type of event that you haven't gotten that you're really looking for?
So it's based on venues. We can only host sporting events that our venues allow us to. So we are heavy on, say, baseball, softball, based on a lot of diamonds here in the communities. We host a lot of aquatics.
Yep. I'm going to guess no alpine skiing.
Yep.
And probably I'd like to see curling down there because you could build a curling center.
Well,
On my phone. I can't do the computer thing. You're on my phone now.
That is beautiful, Ryan. And I got to be honest with you, it's so much better.
So what I was saying is we
Yes,
can only
sir.
do what the venues allow us to do, of
Mhm.
course. And based on not only the Mets being here for spring training, which
Right.
already creates some great baseball buzz in the community,
Mhm.
we do a lot of aquatics. We host about 30 different types of sports, believe it or
Right.
not, Glenn, in those 100 events. What we would consider your traditional sports as well as non-traditional sports. And what is a sport these days? I mean, turn on ESPN and you can see the Johnsonville Cornhole tournament.
Right.
So we try to think outside the box, bring the business in what the industry would call the shoulder times of year, where we really need that business, not necessarily spring training and spring break when just go on the road. The traffic's already there. The hotels are already booked. We work with our hotel partners in the community to make sure that we identify their needs and work within their needs. And
Right.
that's the great part about being introduced and connected with Dr. Producer Suzanne is we're peeling back a whole nother level with the hospitality and the culinary aspect. And I think there's a lot of synergy
Mhm.
with her department and her division, but also with the college in general, with Indian River State College as an institution. They have stepped up drastically to help us as an organization, as well to be a major player in the Firefighter Challenge that we recently spoke on. Not sure if you know, Glenn, but our own St. Lucie County as a department is #1 in the world. They are back-to-back world champions here in St. Lucie County.
Wow.
And Martin County, they're 3rd in the world.
Wow.
So we
That's
have
awesome.
top 3 departments in the world when it comes to the challenge. And that has resonated here with our residents as we try to host this family friendly, fun event to create awareness what these men and women do, open it up to the public with some other activities for them to do on site. And we're seeing thousands of people come out to check it out.
So what do the firefighters do when they're competing against each other?
So they're on full gear, full bunker gear,
Right.
with their pack on. They start with a weighted bag on their shoulder and they have to climb up the 50-foot tower.
Dang. Mhm.
Once you get to the top of
Glenn's out.
I was out at gear.
the tower, you pull a 75-pound donut roll from the ground all the way up into the tower, have to proceed down the tower, touching every step. If you miss a step, 2-second penalty. Once you get down to the bottom, you run through a small obstacle course, grab a fully charged hose, drag that fully charged hose to the other end of the course, have to shoot through the target. Once you shoot through the target, you pick up a 170-pound Rescue Randy dummy and charge backwards to the finish line.
My goodness, that's pretty intense right there. Reminds me of that obstacle course TV show that they film in Las Vegas. I'm totally forgetting the name of that. American Ninja or some warrior ninja person. I don't know.
American Ninja Warrior.
That's it. That American Ninja person warrior thing. All right.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Glenn, this is what I found to be really impressive.
Yes.
Because most of the time when you plan events or, conventions or something along those lines, you are talking 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years out. And so their team within less than 60 days were able to relocate the Firefighter Championship back in November. So maybe Ryan, you could add a little context to that, because I was just in awe of the fact that you all were able to pull that together in that quick amount of time.
Yes, I would love to touch on that. And just to put it in perspective, we are now in talks of trying to host the 2023 World Championship. That would be in October. And we're hosting meetings now.
Wow.
To prepare for 2023. So you're actually right, Doctor, when mentioning that these events take time to come to fruition, and there's a lot of planning that takes place at the infancy stages. But to bring it back to the conference and trade show, our president CEO and I were over in Tampa at Connect Sports in September of last year, and it was COVID. We were coming out of the back end of COVID, and as everyone knows, COVID threw a monkey wrench into everyone's plans, and we're still trying to navigate our ways out of it.
Yep.
But the Challenge World Championship was scheduled for Broward County down in Fort Lauderdale. And 60 days out, they were having issues with communication with the local government, getting some of the things that needed to be put in place. So they were having cold feet. And very soon after, Broward County pulled out of hosting that championship. And within 60 days, we were able to have that initial conversation, lean on our local community resources. They felt total confidence in the venue that we had selected and us as an organization to make it happen, because we had proved that in the past.
Right.
And not only were we able to host almost 200 competitors from around the world, as far as Ukraine, that came for that world championship, we also went out and were able to generate almost $30,000 in our local community and private corporate sponsorship, because they value what these men and women do, once again, on a daily basis. So we were able to help a partner that is still feels that they're indebted to us, for lack of a better term, for making that come to fruition. Now we'll go from hosting in the last 4 years, we'll host the Firefighter Challenge National Championship, World Championship. This year will be a national championship again in Fort Pierce in September, and then plans for a world championship again next year in 2023. So it is a very in-depth event, because it takes place over multiple days. And as you can imagine, these men and women running the course in full bunker gear, there's some recovery and restoration afterwards that we have to make sure that we're taking care of these men and women from a health and wellness component. But to see them accomplish this unbelievable task, and they say if you do it under 90 seconds, you're the best of the best. So to put that in perspective, although ESPN says toughest 2 minutes in sports, they have the Lion's Den. If you do it under 90 seconds, you get the Letterman's jacket, you're in the Hall of Fame, the whole 9 yards. And they do not modify that course for the female end. So you have females that are out there picking up a 170-pound that's, you know, more than their body weight, dragging backwards on the course. So I invite you, if you can check it out in September in downtown Fort Pierce. It is incredible, and to see the crowd get behind these women is even more impressive.
So when you say it's downtown, what kind of venue is it in specifically?
So it's at the parking lot of the Manatee Center, the Bacchus Museum, and the Seven Gables House, right there at the boat ramp. Take over the boat ramp. The backdrop is the Indian River. You get a great breeze right off the waterway. And that's what we like to do as a destination, is promote and market our best resources. So although this parking lot takes place in random parking lots throughout the country of the United States, our venue is very iconic, with the backdrop of the bridge and the waterway and the boats crossing. And it really screams Treasure Coast.
That's excellent. So how did you guys get together, with you being on the advisory board and all that? How'd that all work?
That would be his chair of his board of directors, Jill Hansen. You know, talk about networking and relationship building. So when I moved down here a year ago this month, there was a hotel I needed to stay at until my camper arrived, and I stayed at Jill Hansen's hotel. It was a Staybridge Suites, and from there, she was like, oh, eventually it kept introducing me to people, and come to this Play Treasure Coast thing. I'm, you know, the chair. I'm like, okay. And actually Ryan was the first person to greet me as I walked in the door. So from that point, we've just seen each other at different meetings, what have you. And I know he's a key player in our industry for bringing business to our community, and asked him to be on my advisory board.
That's cool. So Ryan, what is your role on the advisory board? What do you advise on exactly?
Well, being the only sports guy on there, I think that's the first initial thing. Events are definitely my forte. Host a lot of them, from indoor, outdoor, to waterway, to your traditional facility. But more importantly, I think it's connecting a lot of the fragmented
Right.
players. We have a great industry, whether it's on the hotelier end, which we have worked lockstep in conjunction with since we started our organization in 1999.
Right.
But then have this whole culinary and hospitality component outside of the hoteliers that we as an organization have not done a good enough job aligning ourselves with. The Kyle's of the world, and sorry to plug one over another, but
That's all good.
Kyle's a local gentleman like myself. He's done some incredible things in the community. And when I see other like-minded people step up and offer time for the betterment of all, I think that's a duty that we should all aspire to serve.
Yeah. Suzanne?
No, it's pretty awesome to be able to find great mentors and opportunities to help really continue to bridge these gaps and really advance where we're going within our industry. We've got to create this pipeline and keep going. And there's always been a synergy with sports and hospitality. And so it really becomes this natural fit because there are so many event related opportunities in that sports world. We have to continue to press forward and really harness these relationships.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying there. And there's way too much of a silo effect that's going on in our industry. Every category seems to be very intensely focused on their own category. I've been talking about this a lot recently. And Ryan, I'm a member of the board of the Long Island Hospitality Association. Our new president, Dorothy Roberts, I'm very excited about. Mark Ergang was our past president. He did a great job, but it was time for him to step down. So now we have Dorothy, and she's going to be focused on being all of hospitality, uniting the restaurants, and I think what you're talking about, the sports and all of the hotels together. So I really think if we can all focus as one unit, we'll be more successful. And it gives you a lot of tools to work with too, because you're able to say, we've got these great restaurants. We've got these particular types of accommodations. We can do this, that, and the other thing to meet all your needs as XYZ event. Right, Ryan?
Correct. And I also feel it's important that we be that microphone to our community to notify them and let them know that these events are taking place. Because if they don't necessarily know that there's an extra 200 youth softball teams in town that are going to bombard restaurants, then they're not necessarily going to be staffed and ready for it, especially as we're coming out of COVID.
Well, it also sounds to me, if you have XYZ softball tournament or baseball tournament coming in, those restaurant owners could be proactive, work with everybody, find out who the teams are, and pitch them on doing, catering or whatever, or meals there, that sort of thing, right?
Correct. Goodie bag items. We always registration bags. We ask for bounce back coupons. Give a small discount. Give them a reason to go into your establishment, and that's something that we offer free of charge, just as a local community partner to our organizations. And anyone that would like to find out more information on Play Treasure Coast Sports Tourism, feel free to Google, or the URL is playtreasurecoastflorida.com. And we've really gone with that play aspect because that's what we do. We see a lot of, we were talking on CVBs earlier, convention visitor bureaus or destination marketing organizations, and they are moving towards that visit, discover. So we felt, as we rebranded a few years ago from the Treasure Coast Sports Commission to more of a sports tourism brand in alignment with our leisure tourism partners, that really right in the name and the brand, it's encouraging, it's telling you what to come and do in our community, whether once again it's visit, discover, or come and play.
And also like that play has several meanings in the context of sports, because you can play the sport or you can come down and just play in your community. I love it. Any final thoughts, Ryan? You did a great job at giving yourself that good old plug there.
I appreciate it. And no, just once again, sorry for the technology issues. Obviously that could always be a challenge, but glad that we got here. And next time I might even just start on the phone.
That would be something radical. Ryan Strickland making things happen to getting online and talking to us and bringing lots of sports teams. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thank you both. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. So that was interesting, Suzanne. What's your big takeaway?
Listen, we've got to really figure out how to work and leverage together. As you said, your association in Long Island, they're really trying to focus on bringing everybody together.
Yep.
We have to think a little bit differently than we have in the past. And we've got to, I keep saying, kind of go back to basics in what we're trying to do, that we're stronger together if we get out of our silos and we go back to those basics, because we're going to have, as we know, a continued labor crunch. And if we don't find ways to be creative and create partnerships and leverage how we communicate and market with our communities, we're all going to struggle. So I love what they're doing out here. They've certainly done an amazing job with their statistics in terms of their occupancy, RevPAR, and their ADR in this market over here. Florida has done really well. Hopefully that can continue, but it's people like Ryan and his team with Rick and Kevin that have done such a phenomenal job at trying to make things happen really quickly.
Beautiful. And I think Labor Crunch would be the name for a good sugary kid cereal, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Really great. It was fun talking to Ryan today, learning about that. And I would encourage all of you out there, if you don't have one of these organizations, maybe your destination marketing company can start to focus more on that. Maybe you can partner with some local schools and try to kind of create this organization on your own. It's a nonprofit, so there's an opportunity to work with the local jurisdictions to maybe get that paid for with occupancy taxes or other types of taxes that are meaningful to the community. So get out there, play the game, get those sports teams. All right, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to listen to us on audio, make sure you download our show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. And if you happen to be listening to this on audio and want to watch us on video, check us out on Anthony or my personal LinkedIn pages. No Vacancy News LinkedIn page, No Vacancy News on Facebook, Anthony's fan Facebook page. And of course, we're on YouTube and at novacancynews.com.
So, Daniel mentioned about pickleball, and actually they do have pickleball events that are coming on. So that's pretty cool. So thank you for watching.
Awesome. Hold on 1 second before we go.
Yep.
Alan says, when I helped start the Long Island Convention and Visitors Bureau, corporation says they don't have tourism on Long Island. Alan, that is an insane mindset you had to fight over there. Unbelievable. And now it's called Discover Long Island. They're doing a great job over there. Alan, thank you so much for that comment. All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here today. Tomorrow night, Friday night audit with the incredible Tarun Patel. You might know him as a former AHOA chairman, or from the company Acquire, or from just being a pretty round awesome guy. So join us tomorrow at 5. Maybe Suzanne, even maybe you'll pop on.
I very well might be popping on. But just as a show note that we will not be together on Monday.
No, we will not. No show on Monday. I am going to be on an airplane, right?
You will be, I believe.
No.
No.
I will be on Sunday. I will be on stage on Monday. That's what the problem is. I got a speaking engagement on Monday. I'll be on stage. Hey, if you're going to be at the California Lodging Expo for the California Lodging Industry Association, come on by. We're going to be at the Commerce Casino. Love to see you all there. That'll be on Monday. And then and then Monday, Craig and I will we're going to be popping on with some fun live impromptu stuff. So there will be content on Monday, just not a regular show, and definitely later in the day than now. All right. That was a whole lot of stuff for the few people that stuck around all the way to the end. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Remember, we've got one life, so blaze on.
Find your passion.
Oh, yes. Love it.